Hello there and Happy New Year. Welcome to Short Hops with Wichita Wingnuts manager Kevin Hooper. Short Hops is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the Wichita manager questions about the Wingnuts, baseball or sports in general, or just seek Kevin's wisdom about life events that may be going on. In this week's episode, Kevin talks to us a little bit about life as a manager in the American Association. He shares with us his NFL insights, especially his excitement about his beloved Kansas City Chiefs. And Kevin's wife pipes in with some information about how to help a wife who's not as angry this time. So let's get right to Short Hops. So let us welcome back Wichita Wingnuts manager Kevin Hooper. Kevin, before we get started into this week's program, I did want to take a moment to address something with you from last week. We had a couple who had written into you to ask your opinion about Christmas dinner, and they wanted you to know that they did go with your recommendation of turkey, and all was well. So they appreciated your input on that. So.
Well, that is great to hear, and I'm happy for them, and I hope that everyone had a wonderful Christmas.
So how about if we begin with some team updates for us there?
Yeah, really not a whole lot going on, Robert, team-wise with the holidays. It's kind of, you get away from it here for a bit over the holidays, so it'll start cranking back up here soon enough after the new year, I would imagine. My family and I are headed to Disney World to Florida on Saturday, so we're really looking forward to that. Our girls, that was their big Christmas present, and they can't wait for Saturday to come and head to some nice weather in Florida as we see snow on the ground here in Wichita.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Heading into our fan questions this week, Tina from Wichita would first like to ask, Kevin, what do you do when you have two players on your team that don't get along? Do you feel one has to go? And if so, how do you decide?
Well, I hope that that's never really the case, but as many years as I've done it now, you're going to have that. It's never been an issue, Tina, for me. I've never had to get rid of a guy because he didn't get along with a teammate. So it's never been an issue on my end. Yeah, you're going to have some guys that squabble here or there, and it might be I call them into the office and have a conversation with both of them, or maybe one at a time, and then maybe both of them together just to kind of squash the bug because, here in Wichita, we really don't put up with a whole lot of that, and we're going to try to build a family atmosphere and all get along.
How different is that for you as a player, though? I mean, how uncomfortable is that in the locker room when there were two guys that don't really get along?
Yeah, it's going to happen, though, I think. I think it's just a given that you're not going to get along with everybody. I mean, there might be one or two guys that aren't your favorites. I was a guy as a player, I pretty much got along with anybody. If there's a guy maybe I didn't care for, he just kind of stayed away. You were still his teammate, and you're respecting him as your teammate. I mean, that's kind of how it works in my mind. Is we're all teammates. We've got to find a way to get through things, some tough times. But no, it's going to happen. I mean, it's evident that that's going to happen when you have so many guys together and for such a long season.
Is it tough as a player, though, when there are two guys on the team that are really kind of at odds with each other and you're just trying to keep peace or try not to have them battling each other or something?
Yeah, but like I said, you might have a couple instances here or there, but it's usually taken care of by the manager. It's never really an issue where two guys don't get along for a full season and you have issue after issue after issue. If something happens and there's an issue, it's usually taken care of pretty quick.
Okay. Anthony from Derby would like to know from you, with your starting staff in place, what do you see as your next pressing need for the Wingnuts?
Quite a few things, I would think. There's some position spots that we obviously need to fill. We need a first baseman. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Leo Vargas, our rookie shortstop that ended the year with us. At worst case scenario, he'd be a utility type option for us. I also think he could be a guy who could be a contributor at shortstop every day for us and hit at the bottom of the line. So the middle infield's kind of up in the air right now. What's going to happen at second, short, and then first base as well. And I think we're going to need one more outfielder to go along with that. So position players are our biggest need right now, and that's something we'll focus on going into the new year here.
Lance from Kevin's hometown of Lawrence would like to ask, Luke Robertson does such a great job with the team's pitching staff. It surprises me that the affiliate teams are not looking at him for a pitching coach or roving pitching instructor job. Why is that?
I'm not sure why that is, Lance. Luke does a tremendous job with our pitching staff. I can't say enough about him breaking down a pitcher and working with our guys. And Luke's a big reason why we've been so successful. And I tell him that I kind of reward him with Christmas presents by building his pitching staff for him and then just hand them over to him. So, I obviously try to get the best guys I can get for him, and then he breaks them all down, and makes them the best that he can make them with his skill set of the pitching coach side. He's done it for a long time now. He's very good at what he does. I know that interests him a little bit. I think the big thing with affiliated ball is just getting your name out and letting teams know maybe that you're interested in doing that. And I'm not sure that he's done that. So, but I know that there is interest in that on his side of things. So we'll see what happens here in the future. But I think he'd do a tremendous job with an affiliate club.
Manuel from Hutch would like to know, am I wrong, or does it seem like a lot of American Association guys are getting signed to affiliate clubs? Do you think that the big boys are gaining more respect for the talent in the league?
Yeah, I think that the last couple of years there's been more and more respect. I think we were down a little this summer, as we've spoken on a previous show, with only 8 guys getting signed during the season. And fortunately and unfortunately for us, I guess we had 5 of those, which is a great thing. That's what it's all about. But it was also a tough year replacing all those guys. But during the off season so far, there's been quite a few guys signed, and it's neat to see. It's neat to watch these guys play night in and night out, whether it's the guys for the Wingnuts or the opposing ball club coming in and seeing those guys get another opportunity in affiliated ball.
Lewis from Wichita would like to know from you, is there a point that you start calling players to ask if they are interested in coming to play for you, or do you wait for them to reach out to you?
Great question. It's a little of both. There'll be guys that we hunt down where we get a release sheet from our league president that say the Marlins released 10 guys, and it gives us their names and contact information. And you look all those guys up, do your homework on them, and try to find what's the best fit. And then we get a ton of emails daily, Josh does as our GM, of guys interested in coming to play. And I'll get a ton of phone calls as well, as will Josh, guys interested in coming to play. So it's a little of both in building a team. Us calling some guys, reaching them out, but I would say more of guys possibly reaching out to us. Or maybe not more. It's probably about half and half, honestly, of guys that reach out to us. I always say our players are the best recruiters because, talk travels fast, and we put together a good product here in Wichita, and guys that play for me are our best recruiters of guys who get released that they played with or guys that are looking for a job that they played with.
Tammy from St. Paul says, Happy New Year to you and Rob. When you are out on the road, what kinds of things do you do when you are not at the stadium? I would think that there is only so much you can do in a place like Sioux Falls or Amarillo.
Thanks, Tammy. That's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people wonder that because those are some towns that there isn't a ton to do. We just try to pass time the best we can. I'm a night owl. It takes me a while to wind down after a game. So I go to bed pretty late, and I'll sleep in a little bit, get up and probably get breakfast at the hotel, go back to my room, get on the computer and look some player stuff up, maybe check up on all the box scores in our league from the night before, just kind of see how guys are doing. And there's times where we'll take our golf clubs on the road, play a little golf on the road. Nothing crazy. We'll all usually go together as a staff to lunch and talk about the situation we're in every day, because there's always something going on with the ball club, maybe a need what we feel that we have to fill. So we're always racking our brains about players. And then usually I'll go back after lunch to the room and just hang out and watch some TV or get on the computer again and check some things out. I have a lot of emails to follow up on and check on all the time. So always a lot of work related to us, even when it's my downtime on the road. But there's times, like I said, where we like to get away, play some golf, or do something fun, get our mind away from it.
I realize this is kind of a little late into this, unfortunately, Violet, but Violet from Wichita would like to know, how does she find out more about the camp you're doing, and will there be things taught that are beneficial for girls who play softball?
Yeah, Violet is a little late. We're actually doing one today for some youngsters. We don't have another one set up right now. There will be some in the future, though. Like I said, our rbiwichita.com is the website that you can go to, and there are some instructors there that teach some really good softball skills as well, me being one of them. We work on baseball or softball, whatever the need might be, but in the future we are going to do some softball camps. I think that will definitely be beneficial for girls.
As a good reminder for Violet, if she doesn't know this, is that maybe you could talk a little bit about you're already helping out in girls softball at Wichita State, so there's some things she obviously could see that you would be beneficial in instructing.
Absolutely, yeah. No, with the help I've done at Wichita State, which has been a lot of fun for me. Obviously, I have my 2 daughters that we continue to speak about, and just my involvement in the softball program at Wichita State has been very refreshing for me. Something new for me that I've really enjoyed so far, and like I said, I've learned a lot about the softball game in a short period of time that I am able to teach kind of both ends. And I've worked with the softball academy that my daughters have played at for 5 years now. And it's funny how similar the two are. You know, infield's my big thing, and teaching a girl how to field a ground ball, I'm going to teach the same way I teach a boy to do the same. So a lot of similarities in both games that can be adjusted either way.
Heading to our NFL questions this week, we begin with our favorite participant on the show. Chiefs fan says, Kevin, my man, 9 in a row. What is the message we have to give to all the doubters now?
My man, Chiefs fan. That is correct. 9 in a row, babe. What a run it's been. So happy. It's been fun to watch them week in, week out. Alex Smith just running the show. Andy Reid doing his thing. Yeah, you know, and I'm sure, Chiefs fan, you and I both had a little doubt ourselves when we were 1-5. So it's been fun. It's been fun to watch the run that they've been on, and let's just hope it doesn't stop anytime soon. They can keep the train rolling right into the playoffs.
Paul from Kansas City asks, can you believe that the Vikings have such a good shot at winning the NFC North now?
Yeah, that's another team. You know, I compare them to the Chiefs a little bit with their quarterbacks. I think Teddy Bridgewater is very similar to Alex Smith, the way they play. You know, neither one of them are going to throw the deep ball a ton. They're going to manage a game. They're going to keep the game flowing. Those short out passes that they throw, guys coming across the slot, they're going to throw the short, successful passes in a good running game in Adrian Peterson, which is going to open up the deep ball eventually. So I see the similarities with them and the Chiefs, and I'm a big Adrian Peterson fan, the way he runs the football. You know, he's not afraid of anything or anyone. He's going to try to run you over. It's a very aggressive style back there, and it's fun to watch the way he plays the game of football.
You know, talking with George Samus, the Saints manager, a couple days ago, with how well the Vikings are playing, he was kind of hoping for a little NFL rivalry with you, with Kansas City and Minnesota.
You know what? We texted back and forth the other night, and he was at that game the other night.
Yes.
Freezing. So he was just informing me on how cold he was sitting up in the stands.
Yeah, he said he left after the third quarter. He couldn't take it any longer. So. Our next question from Juan from Wichita. Happy New Year, Kevin and Rob. Wasn't that odd about the coin flip in the Patriots game?
Happy New Year to you as well, Juan. And yeah, that's the talk of the week for sure. Bill Belichick, I would never question his strategy, and they struggled offensively. I thought when it happened that it was a mistake, that they made a mistake with the call, but it sounds like they didn't. It sounds like that's what Belichick wanted to do, and they were just following instructions. And, hey, you know, if it worked out, everybody would have been praising him. It's like we talk about all the time in the media. You know, you're either the hero or the GOAT, one of the two, and he ends up being called the GOAT after that. But I don't think you could ever call that guy a GOAT, what he's done. As we've stated before, my respect for Belichick and the way he does things with New England. But it just didn't work out. One of those things that didn't work out. They're struggling offensively. They didn't have any weapons that day. They thought they could play defense, get better field position, and just go kick a field goal and win the game. So it just didn't work out.
No, it did not. Vince from Wichita would like to know, who do you see as a better team, the Arizona Cardinals or the Carolina Panthers?
I think he says Atlanta or Carolina, Robert.
Yeah, he corrected that in a later email, so I apologize.
Oh, so he won't know Arizona or Carolina?
Yeah, Arizona or Carolina, yeah.
That's a tough question. Arizona's playing really, really well. I have to pick Arizona. I know the Panthers are 14-1 and the Cardinals are 13-2, but as we'll talk a little bit later in my top 5, I think I'm going to have Arizona at the top. So I'm going to go with Arizona. I love the way they're playing right now, and they're on a really good run as well, and they're going to be trouble for somebody here in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Speaking of Kevin's top 5, so Derek would like to know, who is the Kevin Hooper top 5 now?
Here we go. I'm going to go Cardinal, Arizona, number 1. We'll go Carolina, number 2. As you get closer to 5, I could throw a ton of teams in there, but we'll go Arizona 1, Carolina 2. You got to keep the Patriots at 3 because they're going to get those guys back at wide receiver, and they're going to be tough as always. Anytime you have Tom Brady, you're going to be tough. 4 and 5 are tough because there's about 5 teams that I think you could throw in there. I'm going to go the Jets at number 4.
Oh wow! Okay.
I really think that they're another team that's on a run right now. I'm a big fan of Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is one tough guy playing the quarterback position. That's why I love him. He's an intense guy and a tough hombre, and so I'm a big fan, and that's why I'll put them at number 4. And you know what? Chiefs fan, for you, we'll put the Chiefs at number 5. So, and you got the Broncos and Bengals in there as well, along with the Packers, you could say. But there's my 5. Cardinals, Panthers, Patriots, Jets, Chiefs at number 5. So there's my top 5 for the week.
I like it. Tyler from Emporia has an interesting question. First of all, he wishes Happy New Year to the two of us and says, isn't it irritating that Al Jazeera report can slander these athletes, claiming that they use HGH, even though the guy who originally made these claims is saying that he was lying before? I mean, come on, what is wrong? This is wrong, isn't it?
Happy New Year to you, Tyler, as well. Thanks for the wishes. Yeah, crazy stuff. Just another report coming out of some guys using HGH. Once again, here's our media. Yeah, I don't know what to think of it. Obviously, his big news there for a minute, and he comes back out and claims that he was lying before. So, all the situations, MLB and whoever else will run an investigation on it. I guess we'll see what happens. But just unfortunate. Guys get clumped in, their names thrown into a situation that might be totally false. But their name came out, and people are going to think that they used it, and it's just an unfortunate situation the media puts us in at times. Once again, another instance of it right here.
Especially for a guy like Peyton Manning, who's always been such an integrity guy.
Exactly, yeah, and that's frustrating, and I know Peyton had some strong responses to it, and it's just unfortunate. And it can happen to anybody, as we know. It can happen to anybody, and anybody's name can be brought up at any time, it seems.
Absolutely. Craig from Newton, switching to college football, asks, Kevin, who do you see winning the Oklahoma-Clemson and Michigan State-Alabama games to advance to the national championship?
This might surprise some people. I'm going to go Oklahoma-Michigan State, and Michigan State winning the national title this year.
Oh, look at that. I like that pick.
Yeah.
So Michigan State, they look really
good.
Go
something different. So, but I like Michigan State. They play good defense. If Cook can be strong at the quarterback position, they'll give themselves a chance.
Absolutely. Lionel from Wichita would like to know, Kevin, our Shockers are just 6-5 to start out the season. What is going on here?
Yeah, tough start. As I always say with anything, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and I'm going to keep the faith because I think that they're going to be just fine. I think that Coach Marshall will figure things out. Get some guys back fully healthy, get everything flowing how they want it to flow, get a little break here, and get things going again and get back on track. I don't think there's really even a question or worrisome of what's going on here. I think that they'll right the ship and be just fine later on down the road.
Darnell from Wichita would like to ask, Kevin, isn't that sad that Meadowlark Lemon died? He had to be the funnest athlete ever to watch. Could you do any of those tricks like that he could?
Yeah, very sad. The old clown prince of basketball, who brought so much fun, excitement, energy to the game of basketball and the Globetrotters in general, and just the shows that they put on were so much fun to see. No, I definitely couldn't do any tricks like that, Darnell. I could handle the basketball a little bit. I was a point guard and liked to try to do all those tricks, I should say, but was never really too successful. But he made the young kids and just young people at heart laugh all the time with what he did and the shows they put on, and what a joy he was to see, and what a joy he was for the game of basketball and the entertainment side of the basketball with the Globetrotters.
Well, I could say that there is one trick that he did that I could probably do, and that was hiding the basketball in my shirt. I mean, that one I could probably get away with. Other than that, I'm kind of out of luck for stuff there at that point. So, Okay. Our next question is from Claire, who asked, you said your family looks at people's homes with Christmas lights. What did you think was the best home you saw?
This was an easy one. I know I spoke about Christmas Story being my favorite Christmas movie before, and we actually pulled through a house that their whole display was a Christmas Story.
Oh,
It had the little boy dummy with his tongue stuck to the pole. It had the Santa Claus and the little boy being drugged down from Santa with his pants down. It had the infamous the lamp with the female leg. It was pretty neat. We've never seen anything like it, and we all got a kick out of it. But Candy Cane Lane is a big thing here in Wichita, out on the west side, that we always enjoy going. Every house on the cul-de-sac is lit up. They've all got a ton of candy canes at their driveways. It was another fun night, just going out and seeing the lights, and all about the kids and giving them a good example of some fun times around Christmas time and get them in that good spirit.
Chris from Topeka would like to know, he says his wife bought him one of those new smartwatches for Christmas. He has to tell us that he feels pretty stupid talking into his wrist, so he wants to know if he's being too insensitive about it, because that's what she tells him.
Yeah, Chris, I think you need to just act like you're some top agent by talking into the watch. So just play it that way, bud. I don't think that there's anything stupid about it. It's technology these days, and it's what's going on. I think it's pretty neat, though, that they've done it with the new smartwatches. That's pretty cool. So don't worry, Chris. It won't be long, and we'll all be doing it, I think. So maybe you're just gonna set the stage for all of us and put your chest out and be strong with it and be proud of it.
He's ahead of the curve.
Yeah, that's right.
Amanda from Wichita says, Happy New Year to the two of us, and she'd like to know what the two of us are resolving to do next year as our New Year's resolutions.
Happy New Year to you, Amanda, as well, and everybody else, for that matter. I really don't make a ton of resolutions. Health and happiness, as far as I'm concerned. That's pretty much mine every year, is health and happiness to family, friends, and everybody out there.
For myself, I guess it's just to keep serving better. That's really my focus about things, is to do better than tomorrow than what I'm doing today, kind of thing. So.
Well, that's excellent, Rob, and that's something that we can all listen and learn from for sure, because we could use a lot more of that in our world today.
Absolutely. Our last question comes from a person identifying herself as not so angry wife anymore, from a previous week's episode. She says, Kevin, Happy New Year to you and your wife, Rob, and his family. I want to thank your wife for her great advice. Now I have a new question for her. My husband told me I could have anything I wanted from him for his New Year's resolution. My question is, do I ask him to do something he would really hate to do, or do I ask him to do something that would be more fun for the both of us to do together? Any thoughts?
Happy New Year to you as well, not so angry wife, and to your husband and family. My wife loves being involved in the show and getting the questions. Her response to this one was, you've got to ask for something for you that serves you. She said even one thing a week was her response. So there you go, one thing a week for a while, and see how that goes. So he said that he would give you anything you wanted. So there you go. That's my wife's answer for the week.
I'm thinking with all these questions coming into her, maybe we should have like a Ask Mrs. Hooper column or something.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Ask Mrs. Hooper. Yeah, she read a couple of them this week and said that Rob, you and I are turned into the Dr. Phil show. So. Great. Fun, we love it. Rob and I love it. And thanks again for everybody that sends in the questions. And Happy New Year to everyone.
Thanks for joining us this week, Kevin.
All right, Robert. We'll talk soon.
All right. Enjoy Disneyland. We want to thank Manager Kevin Hooper for joining us on Short Hops this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the Wichita manager, please send them to us at AskKevin@minorleaguesportsupport.com. That's AskKevin@minorleaguesportsupport.com. Please have your questions to us by Sunday evening so we can give the skipper a little time to review them before we record the show on Monday. I want to thank you for joining us this week. We hope you have a blessed and careful New Year's Eve, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Short Hops.